Hello again. This is the course of information system development. And in this video, I would like to teach you about the basic of JavaScript. As you might know that we already learned the basic of Django with HTML, and you learn a little bit about CSS, and you know about the model, how you create the user management. And there's one more thing that you need to know, which is about the JavaScript. Okay. So we are going to learn the details about the JavaScript. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the JavaScript, the concepts, and some statements on the JavaScript and the control flow in the JavaScript. And I think it's related with the basic programming about the JavaScript. If you already familiar with the JavaScript, I guess this is a good time to review. But if you're the first time to learn JavaScript, I think this basic will give you some good idea how can you apply the JavaScript into your project. Okay. So we will learn about the basic JavaScript, what is JavaScript, and some syntax about the JavaScript. How can we implement the JavaScript into the web pages? So we will learn how we put the JavaScript in the head, in the body, and in the external JS file. And we will learn the basic concept about the JavaScript statement, like the operator, data type, and the control flow, conditional, iteration functions, and how can we debug the JavaScript. First, you need to understand the HTML. What is HTML? So the word D means the dynamic. The dynamic behavior at the client side, it means you have one HTML file, but uh, most things that we already learned until now, you will do something in the backend. So you put all the codes in the backend, and after you modify or you manipulate or you process the data in the backend, you put it on the front end. So you put it on the HTML file. But now there might be some thing that you need to process in the front end. Okay, so something like this is related with modify the your profile, or you want to modify your name and etc. And the processing should be in the front end, because the user may need some more efforts to deal with the modification, to deal with the addition, and etc. So the dynamic behavior at the client side is necessary, especially if it is related with the user interface. So when you use the JavaScript, it will be more convenient to help the user to understand your website. So what is the HTML? So the HTML stands for the dynamic HTML, and it makes possible a web page to react and change in response to the user's actions. So if you move your mouse, then there will be some actions. If you click something, and then if you give some options, then the JavaScript can help you to give, for example, some messages or alert, or some warning. In many applications, we call DHTML. Okay? We call this DHTML. It stands from the HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript. So you already learned about the HTML, and you know something about the CSS. We use the Bootstrap format to design the user interface, and we use the HTML to show in the front end, and we want to combine it with the JavaScript. So some concepts mentioned. The HTML is from the XHTML. X means the extensible, and we have also the CSS, which is like the format, the styling sheet, like the Bootstrap, JavaScript, and DOM, data object model. So we can also use some data object in the HTML file. It means like you build the model in Django, you can also build the model in the HTML file. But it is out of the scope, so I think I will not explain more about DOM. If you have interest on the DOM, yeah, you can try to learn by yourself. So the HTML, it is a combination of the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. You know the HTML, it defines the website content to the semantic text, like the heading, paragraph, and list. CSS is part of the styling. So we can say it is a rules to present. So it should give you a good visualization. For example, the font, background, position, and layout. And the JavaScript defines the dynamic behavior. So for example, you want to give a programming logic for interaction with user. So if user input something and it is wrong, then you can directly give some warning. Or if you click something, if the user still do not put some details, then yeah, it gives you some more alerts. And if the user cannot understand what they should input, then you can give some hint, etc. So the JavaScript is the dynamic behavior in a web page. There are many applications, there are many web pages that apply the JavaScript. So we're going to learn the basic one about the JavaScript. Okay? So the JavaScript actually is a front-end scripting language. And the first JavaScript was developed by Netscape for dynamic content. Maybe you don't know about Netscape, but Netscape is one of the browser that already established in the earlier states of internet. So in the first stage of internet, Internet Explorer and then Netscape, yeah, they are very first browser. And in the Netscape, they put the JavaScript for the scripting or for the front end, and it is lightweight. However, at that time, it is limited in the capabilities. It can be used as object-oriented language. Yeah, so not all programming languages is available for object-oriented languages, but JavaScript is one of the programming languages that is available for object-oriented languages. JavaScript is called as the client-side technology. It means it is embedded in your HTML and it is for client. So if you want to click something, then yeah, it will change according to your comments and etc. And then it is interpreted by the web browser. Whenever you use browser like Chrome or Internet Explorer or like example another browser like Safari, okay, so you can use the JavaScript. People said it's simple and flexible, so you will see why it is simple and flexible, and it is powerful to manipulate the data object model. Yep. As I mentioned to you, I will not explain the detail about the data object model, but yeah, maybe in some parts you will know a little bit about DOM, data object model. The advantages of this JavaScript, it allows the interactivity. For example, if you have a form validation. In the previous lectures, we learned about the form validation and we use the submit, yeah, and we learn about the get and post method. And when you validate a form, then you can save the files, you can save the data into the database. The JavaScript will also allow to react to user actions. For example, yeah, handle some keys and changing an image on moving mouse over it. So you can, yeah, for example, if you move your mouse, then it will detect your movement. So that's why when you do online shopping, for example, the application can detect your behavior, whether you're clicking one item or you're choosing one item or you're interesting, you have interest on one image and etc. It easily detect by JavaScript. And sections of a page appearing and disappearing. So when you move your mouse, it can appear and it can disappear. So that can happen with the JavaScript. And content loading and changing dynamically. So when you have a content, yeah, you can just like make a book, right? You can drag and drop, and then you can scroll, you can shift, and etc. performing complex calculations. And yeah, if you think that you don't need to save your data into the database, then you can just perform some calculation in the JavaScript. And it has a custom HTML controls. Let's say if you want to make a table, okay? So if you want to make a table, you can show it into the HTML file, but usually in the HTML it's not dynamic, so it's static. Using the JavaScript, you can make a dynamic table, and you can implement the Ajax functionality. So Ajax functionality means you can adopt some function in the Java asynchronous. And yeah, we will learn a little bit about the Ajax. How can you make some web page dynamic? Okay, so those kind of things will be related with the JavaScript. What can JavaScript do? Yeah, we can handle events. So it means like click and then mouse move, mouse click button, click, not click, or right button, left button, scroll, and etc. You can read and write HTML elements and modify the DOM tree. Okay, the other object model can be represented as a tree. You can validate form data. Okay, and then you can access or modify browser cookies. Yeah, with JavaScript, you know, in your website, you can be detected whether you are accessing Google or you're accessing Never or etc. So all the website use cookies, so they will save your information, and it can detect the user browser and OS. So you know, if you are using Chrome and then you access to one website, they can detect that you are accessing this website using using Google Chrome and what is the version and etc. It can be used as the object-oriented language, so you can create instance, you can create like the object and etc. It can handle exceptions just as a common programming languages, and it can perform asynchronous server calls. So we will learn a little bit, not so many. You can connect to the server using the Ajax. For the JavaScript, so we're going to use the PyCharm as well. And let's make a new project like basic.js. And in order to place the HTML file, let's use the folder name templates. Okay, you know about this one. So let's see. I will open the PyCharm and then let's create a new project. And it is a Django project. Let me just give basic.js. Okay. So all other things are the same. Yeah, just create the basic JS. Okay, so you have the basic JS and you have the folder templates. Okay, and then let's see. For the next, I need to create views. Okay, so we need to have a views.py. Okay. In this case, there is no view, so let's just make one file, a new file, and it is the Python file views. Okay. And then in the views, we want to put the code here. Okay, so I will just have very simple one. Okay, I will have one index.html, and yeah. For this one, let's just give one more path into the urls.py, and I guess we need to give include later. So the urls, we will put one line like this one. Okay. Okay, there will be a question about home. So you need to put the, yes, this one, and you need to give include. So maybe we will need it later. Yeah, so you can put this one, include. Okay, perfect. So you will access the home. So where is home? Home is in the views.py. Okay, and when you access the home, you will go to the index.html. Where is the index.html? So you can go to the next stage here. Oops. So this is the index.html in the templates. So let's see, you just put it into the templates and let's make a new HTML file. Okay. And this one is called as index. Okay. And then, yeah, this one is a JavaScript. And we are using the JavaScript in the body. Okay. And next is, yeah, we need to define the templates. I guess if we are using the PyCharm, you already have this one in the settings.py. Okay, in the settings.py, yeah, you have this one. Okay, so you already defined the folder template, so I don't need to define again. Yeah, in the case of you use the other IDE, let's say you are using the Eclipse to design your Django project, then you can define the templates. So let's see how can it works in your web. Okay, so just run this one. Yeah, we are using the NSPY, and then okay, everything is fine. So let's run. Hello JavaScript. Okay, so this is the JavaScript. Nothing here, but yeah, you see one pop up using the code that we have here, which is, yeah, in the HTML we use the JavaScript alert. Okay, so alert means this is the first time you use the JavaScript. For the alert, it will show a pop-up. Okay, and you can type something in the code you have in the index.html. Let's say I want to write something in the body part. Okay, so the first line is, so you want to type something in the actually it's also in the body, but it's just in the heading part. Okay, so basically you can put those two into the head or in the body. If you use this one, and then if you go to the web, so yes, you have the hello JavaScript, and then yep, you can see that you are writing something in the HTML file. So it means the document dot write, it will write something in the body. Okay. So if you put this into the, maybe let me continue first. Okay. Okay, so you have this one. After you click, you will see the rules. Okay. The next one, you can use the JavaScript code in the external. Okay, so as explained here, the JavaScript code can be placed in the head, okay, and it can be also in the body. Yeah, usually it's not recommended, but yeah, that is possible. Okay, for the example that I showed you before, it was in the body. It's not recommended, but it works. And we can also use the external files. The external file means you want to use the JS file. So it is .js. It is the JavaScript file. And this JavaScript will be located in the separate folder. Okay. The use of this separate file is highly recommended because the file, it can be cached by the browser. Okay. So how can we use the .js? Okay. First, we need to know that the code will be executed during the page loading and when the browser fires an event. So the two, okay, when you load the page, it means like this one. So when you refresh, so it's loading the code, it's loading the page. Okay, and the other time to get the execution is when the browser fires an event. So when you click or when you push something, okay, All statements are executed at the page loading, and some statements just define functions that can be called later. Functions call or code can be attached as event handler. Okay, we will learn about the event handler, and it is via tag attribute. So let's say if I want to execute something on click, okay, on click on the logo, so you will just get an alert click. Okay. Calling a JavaScript function from the event handler means you will deal with the static external file. So you will deal with the JavaScript, you will deal with the image, you will deal with the CSS. And before we go to further, let's make this one. You need to create a folder name static. Okay. So you need to create a folder name static here. Yeah, I think the static as a child of the parent folder basic.js, and then you need to separate the image and the JavaScript. So you need to create two additional folder, image and JS. So here you will make a new folder. So let's make a new maybe just directory. Okay, and then we have the static. Okay, and then in the static we will separate into two, another folder which is image. Okay, and the other file is the things related with the JS. Okay, now you need to define the static folder. Okay, so the static folder, okay, let's see in the setting.py. In the setting.py, you can go to the bottom part. Okay, so you have the static. So this static should be defined in your case. Yeah, you can put more this one, the static files directory. Okay, it is in the static folder and the static root is in the static file. So you can put this one, okay, to indicate that the static, it will be referring to the static folder that you have this one. And okay, I will check later. Maybe I will have something that I need to figure out later. Now, I would like to change the index.html. Okay, so let's say I'm making one new JavaScript, which is the testing, and then I will use this alert to show the message. Okay, I don't use the external file yet, but I will just use this JavaScript in the head section, and after this I will explain to you how to put the JavaScript file in the static one. So here I will just copy and paste and change the index.html. Okay, so we have this one. I guess I need to change this one, not here. Okay, let's see. So I am going to load the static, and this static will go to the image logo.gif. Okay, but you don't have the logo.gif, so you need to get some files. Okay, let's say I want to get the files. What do you want? Logo.gif. Okay, is there any logo.gif? No, there are many. So just get the very simple. Maybe this one. It is oh, it's very big. Okay, I don't want to have a very big. Okay, oh, it's so good. Oh, it seems interesting. Okay, let me just use this one. So I will just save the images as the logo.gif, and maybe I will put into the where is the file? I forgot. Okay, I guess I I put it into the because we are not using this one. Okay, it's in the scene, it's in user, and I put into the user, and I have the PyCharm project. Where's the Python projects? Okay, yeah, this is the Python project, and then I have the basic JS, and then I have the static folder, and then I have the image. Okay, yes, I put it into the image. Okay, so you can check there's one logo that give here. Okay, so you make sure that the file is in the image. Okay, after you have this, let's check. Okay, I'm not sure if it is working. Oh, yep. Okay, I cannot see the image, my image. Where's the image here? So it means I need to change this one. It's not here, but I guess it should be in the upper part. Okay, so we have the static here. Okay, let's see. Yes, that's right. Okay, so you need to change the static. It's not in the basic.js here, but it's from the parent. Okay, so I missed that one. So the static contains the image and it contains the JS, and you can get the file here. Okay, and yeah, this one is just an example. I got this logo, and then oh, there's one more thing that you need to do, which is click. Okay, so if you click this one, oh, there is a pop-up. Click. Okay, it means this alert happens because you are doing one kind of event, which is clicking. Okay, so when you click, then the alert appears. So this is the message. Okay, so what is the message? Yeah, just alert the message. And at this moment in the body, we are going to load the static. So I want to load the image. Okay. I want to load the image, which is from the folder image in the static. Okay, so the source will be in the static folder, and you can go to the image folder and find the logo.gif. And the alternative is my image. It means if you cannot find the image, just print my image. And then when you click the image, just test click. So test, it means the function in the JavaScript, and click is the parameter, or this is the argument, and it will print the message according to the string given in this argument. Okay. Yep, you can use external script files. So the use of the external script file is separating the HTML with other related files, such as the image and the JavaScript. So you already have these images. So the image is already in a separate file. But how can we use the JavaScript in a separate file? So we are going to access the external script file and execute in the index.html file. Now we already have the previous example, okay, and let's just modify the index.html. Okay, I will just use this code. Okay, load the static. Yeah, I have the sample.js. Let's see. Yeah, now I'm not using the I'm using the image. I'm not using the logo.gif, but I'm going to use the sample.js. What is sample.js? So the sample.js is something related to the JavaScript. Okay? So this is the sample.js, and you need to put this sample.js in the folder JS. So we already create this the folder JS, and then let's make a new file. Okay? Yeah, you can have this one, JavaScript file. Okay, so the JavaScript file, you can put it like the name of sample, and then paste the statements from the PBD. So this has a function. The function name is sample, and when you click or when you call this function, it will show the alert hello from sample.js. Okay, now if I run the code, okay, so you can run the code. If you run the code now, yep, there's one button. Okay, if you click this button, hello from JS. So let's see, what is this button? In the index.html, you will see it will load static. Okay, it means I will go to the static folder, and then the source for the script is from the folder JS, and the file will be sample.js, and it is the JavaScript. In the body, you will have one input. It is a type of button, so that's why you will see button. And then the value or the text will be called JavaScript function from sample.js. And when you click on this button, you will run sample function. So this sample function, actually, it is inside of the sample.js. So you see this function in the JavaScript. So we are going to execute the function sample. So that's what we can do with the simple JavaScript. Okay, so you already learned the JavaScript, how to run the JavaScript from the head, how can you run the JavaScript from the body, which is not recommended, and you learn how to use the JavaScript in the external file, and also you learn how to put the external file, for example the logo.gif, in the static. Okay, so by using this one, you can create more flexible website in the future. So I will finish this video until this section, and we will continue the other section with the other video. Thank you very much for listening.